Okay. Um, Aya Satini, Stakatiohan, Achtu Yake, Yata Khwalqini, Ya Yagitsa. It's good to see you guys. I feel so good just seeing your faces again. This is week 4 of our class. We're going to start tracking the days, both using the Gregorian calendar, in other words, February 5th, and also a lunar calendar, in other words, S'eek Dísi, and 7th day of the moon. So we'll take a look at that today. I've been reading the book, Moons and Tides, that Jamie Ann recommended to me, and bringing some of those activities into our lessons. So like I said, for today, we'll talk about the moon and tides. We'll do some review of our dialogue and then practice new vocab. Still thinking about the image and the poster with the beach and the tides and the people, and starting to expand how we talk about it to include the tide. Before we get started, are there any thoughts, comments, questions? So here we go. I've been learning about the lunar calendar, and I put an image here that's an overlay of the Gregorian calendar, such as January, and how that lines up with the lunar calendar and traditional month names in Tlingit. So it's February now, but looking back at January, on January 29th, there was a new moon. And that was the beginning of S'eek Dísi, Black Bear Month. So go ahead and repeat after me. S'eek Dísi.
Dísi.
And so you can see we have our date at the top, January 29th, but we also have the new moon, which is the beginning of the new moon cycle. And then the day of the new moon would be day 0. So we'll also be tracking the days of the lunar calendar here. So new moon was January 29th. That was day 0, 30th day 1, day 2. Looking ahead to this month, February, day 3, 4, 5, 6, and today is day 7 of S'eek Dísi. So I wrote this sentence at the top, S'eek Dísi dechadushu yawachi yadis. And that just means this is Black Bear Month, and 7 days have passed this month. So let's practice this first sentence, meaning this is Black Bear Month. Repeat after me. S'eek Dísi
Dísi.
Good. Your tones sound good. This next word just is the word for 7. Repeat after me. Dechadushu. Good. Again. Dechadushu. Good. Good. You sound good. This next word is for days passing. So it means days have passed. Yawachi. Underline X is back of the throat. Repeat after me. Chi. And then say Yawachi. Good. These last 2 words mean this month. Repeat after me. Yeah, this. So say S'eek Dísi Good. And then Dechadushu. Yawachi. Yeah, this. Good. So we'll practice saying this to track the days in this class. And today is the first quarter, so we'll be talking about the moon phase. This calendar says that today's a waxing gibbous, but I looked at a couple other websites and they seem to be in agreement that today is actually the first quarter. So that's what we'll go with today. And I think we'll track the tides and the moon phase and the day on a template like this. So let's practice the month day again. Repeat after me. S'eek, Dísi.
S'eek,
Dísi.
Dísi,
And then the day of the phase, Dachadushu.
Dachadushu.
Ardushu,
Uh, and then it's the first quarter moon. And then I put our tides here. So the Akbe area, like out at Akrek, is traditionally called Anshgaltsu. And so we'll keep track of the tides there. Last week when we met, it was our new moon. And we put at times and the heights of our tide. There's 2 tides per day, and we'll keep track of how the moon cycle affects how much the tide fluctuates. So, Jamie Ann, do you have your tide book handy?
I do. I
What
see
do we?
that high tide was 16.4 feet at 5:46 a.m.
Uh, okay.
The low was at 12:32 p.m. and it was 1.7 feet. And then we have another high at 6:50 p.m. and it will be 11.8 feet. And there is no other low on today's.
Okay, cool. That will happen. Thank you. Gunaftish. That will happen from time to time when the next low happens to be after midnight. So it just, will shift like that through time.
Yeah, it's going to be at 12:24 a.m. tomorrow.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. So as we can see, our highest high, um, last week was 18 feet. Today our highest high is 16.4 feet. Our other high was 15.1. Our other high today is 11.8. Usually we would track when I was fishing with my dad growing up, we would track the difference between the highest high and the lowest low to track how much fluctuation there was. So we can get into that. Looking at it, I'm saying it's about 15 feet. Last
Well,
week it
had a
was about
waxing gibbous of 55%. I don't know if that, but
oh for yeah.
this is what the moon's looking like today.
Nice.
Yeah.
So probably a lot of us are kind of new to tracking moon phases and stuff, but we're all learning together. I think it's fun for us to keep track. My goal is that as we observe the moon and its phase, we start to see the correlation between how it affects the tides. Is it going to be a big difference? Is it going to be really high and low lows? Um, and as we continue this class, we'll start to include harvesting, things like that. So, what do you guys think? Any thoughts or comments?
Were there any other like planets that might have been involved or important?
Good
Yeah.
question. Yeah.
This month's plant is alder. I've got this really awesome calendar that I got from Chatwin Books and their Salmonberry imprint collection. It's really super beautiful. They're $20 and you can get them at Chatwin Books. But it's got these social emotional teachings and learnings that go along with plants. And this month's outlined is alder, and it's to build community. And that's exactly what we're doing here with each other. We're building this community of language and culture and healing. And we're stronger together and we support each other, just like the alder tree. So the alder seeds grow quickly in disturbed soils in the wake of fire, landslides, and clear cuts. They partner with bacteria to create rich soil and also provide a shady habitat in which many plants and animals can live. Alder builds a diverse and resilient forest community. Every living thing requires support to survive and thrive. How can we learn from the collaborate with how can we learn from and collaborate with others to strengthen our community? And I think this is great just to talk about a little bit today, that the plants have social emotional teachings for us that we can learn from and see every day. And a great example of building community and standing together today is the 50-50-01 protests that are happening throughout our country. And this is just a plug to get to your state capitol at noon today. If you don't live in a place where your state capitol is, then you go to the city hall. That's where people are going. So yeah, that's the teaching for this month is alder.
Awesome. Lichéesh. That's cool. And then the question is also about planets. Who knows anything about planets, as far as like how they affect the tides right now? Not me. The most I know about planets is I have the Stargazer app. So if I'm out looking at the Northern Lights or something and I see a planet, I like to point my phone at it and see which one it is. That's about as far as I got.
Well, last month there were 3 planets that were visible, which were Saturn, Mars, and I think what was the other one? Saturn, Mars, and Jupiter or something.
Okay.
But I know this month there's going to be 7 planets that are going to be aligned, and they're going to be there for, like, you'll see it in the night sky. If it's clear, you'll be able to see a line of the planets, and there will be 7 of them.
Cool. Let's use this activity from the book Moon and Tides as well. This is a booklet that is meant for students to cut out and copy and paste. But the objective that I think we can do separately from our where we're at is just keep track of how the moon changes. So you could just write in your notebooks the date and then what it looks like that day. Wintertime is great for observing the moon phase because it's dark a lot. You can see the moon pretty easy if it's clear. But just to keep track of, because we only meet once a week, so it went from being a new moon to the first quarter for us. But, like what is it? Is it getting fuller? Is it waxing? Stuff like that.
Anna, I just
Yeah.
wanted to share that Carrie had shared about the 3 planets that lined up last month. And
Yeah.
I actually got a picture of them.
Ooh.
And that was while I was on vacation in Hawaii, and it looks like a daylight picture, but it's not. It was nighttime when I took that picture.
Oh. Can you please email that to me? I put my email in the chat.
I have those pictures as well, but mine aren't in a line because it's from where I am, from compared to Hawaii, it's further apart. But
Oh. Wow, cool.
yeah, and I was quite surprised how well they came out. And last night I took a picture of one of the planets, and it was so bright. So they're popping out.
Oh.
Yeah, these planets, I'm just starting to get in tune more with Father Sky through like a four directions prayer, and then paying the respects to Father Sky and uh, Grandmother Moon and Father Sun and all the star nations. And then I just realized that the planets are being left out of that prayer. But they do affect our daily lives and can, it says that I looked online that the alignments and retrogrades can influence our emotions, behavior, and decision makings. And so I think part of the connection to the moon and the tides is also being mindful about the effects that it has on our bodies and behaviors.
Cool.
So I don't know if you can see that, but there's the first planet that popped out last night.
Ooh,
Wow,
cool.
that was bright.
Yeah.
All right,
So
you guys, please email me photos if you have them. I can put them in our slides. I have a question in the chat about how my dad observed and passed on knowledge about tracking the tides as we fish. I guess the main thing I can say about how tides affect us fishing growing up was if we fish for halibut, their feeding is affected by the currents. So if there's a big tide difference between high and low, you get a lot of current and a lot of scent out from your bait, and the fishing is usually pretty good. So we were always keeping track of the tides every day as we fished. But this is an awesome discussion, and we'll be continuing it at the beginning of class every day, so don't feel like this is your only chance. I want to jump into our warm-up and some of our language activities that I planned for you. So for our warm-up, this is a question that came up last week. I just want to revisit it. A pronunciation comparison. Underline letters sound gravelly, or they're pronounced in the back of your throat. So if you think of your vocal cords and your mouth as an instrument, you're exercising the part in the back of your throat, and you're creating friction for the air to come through, and it makes a very unique sound. Elders can hear the difference between an underlined letter and a non-underlined letter when you pronounce them, and they apply meaning to what you're saying. So it's important to get them, and we'll just keep working on them together in here. So far, I think you guys sound really good. But let's take an underlined X with no apostrophe and just let the sound flow out. You're not stopping the air at all. And so just repeat after me. Khu.
Oh.
And we'll do it 4 times. Khu.
Oh.
Khu. And one more. Khu. Good. If you see an apostrophe after your letter, then you're stopping the air and you're forcing what air is left from here up out. And it's going to sound sharper. And I've heard it described as snap your teeth on it, make it sharp. So let's try this one. Ooh.
Oh.
Good. Again. Ooh.
Oh.
Yep. Ooh. And one more time. Ooh. Good. So let's do one comparison without the apostrophe, without the pinch. Ooh. And then, and then with the and then with the pinch. Ooh. Good. Are you guys feeling the difference when you're saying them?
Yes.
Good. Okay. Glad that question came up. So let's do this the other way. Last week we started with the Tlingit word and you translated them into English. Let's go the other way this time. So wasa dua sa house Tlingit Tlingit. How do you say house in Tlingit?
Hit.
It.
Good. Boat kwa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. How do you say good? How do you say I see it?
Teen.
Good. Yake. Really good.
But
And you see it?
You a teen. Eating.
Yeah, good.
Get.
Yake. Iatino. So let's start from the top. Repeat after me. Hit.
Hit.
it's
Yak.
Yeah.
oh,
Khatin.
Teen.
Teen.
Iatin.
Yeah.
Teen.
Eating.
Good. So we're going to start to see a pattern in conversation. When I'm talking about me doing something, I'm doing it. I'll use the sound kh. If I'm talking about you doing something or you seeing it, for example, I'll use the sound iya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It.
Good. Okay. So repeat after me. Khatin.
Teen. Teen.
Okay. And you see it? Iatin.
Yeah. Teen.
Good.
Teen.
Okay. Any questions?
Click.
Okay.
Dasa iya teen.
Repeat after me. Dasa iatin.
Dasa.
Teen.
Au khatin.
Oh, teen.
oh,
Ow. Teen.
Oh, teen.
Good. From the top. Dasa iatin.
Dasa.
Teen. Dasa. Teen.
Okay. Au khatin.
Oh,
Teen.
And shao khatin.
Shaw.
Na khatin.
Now,
nah,
teen.
Teen. No. Teen.
Good. It's important to pronounce this underline K in the back of your throat and also with your lips rounded. That's what the W tells us to do. See a W, round your lips. And when you pronounce this in the back of your throat, this K, it makes it octopus. If you make it too high in your mouth, it becomes the word for medicine. So
Yeah.
this is an example, yeah. So let's do it again. Repeat after me. Na khatin.
No.
Teen.
Teen.
Okay.
No.
And from the top, da sa iatin.
Dasa.
Teen.
Au khatin.
Oh,
Teen. Ow.
Shao khatin.
cow.
Teen.
Na khatin.
Now,
Teen.
Yao khatin.
yeah.
Teen.
Okay, good. That was a little review. Repeat after me. Ow.
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 Ow. Ow. Ow.
Shao.
Shao.
No.
Oh,
Na.
No.
Na.
No. No. No.
Good.
No.
Yao.
Yeah.
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 Good. Any questions? Let's take these same phrases and put them in a back and forth activity, conversation practice. First, repeat each one after me. Da sa iatin.
Da sa
Asa
i.
iatin.
Asa iatin.
Ya khatin.
Ya
Yeah.
Katin.
Ya. Atin.
Yeah.
Good. Now I'll be person A and ask you, Da sa iatin. You guys will all be person B and answer Ya khatin. Da sa iatin.
Yeah.
Atin.
Okay. And same thing for this one. You guys are person B. Da sa iatin.
Hit.
Katin.
Katin.
Hit. Achatin.
Da sa iatin.
Au katin.
Au. Hatin.
Wow.
Katin.
Atin.
Oh. Team.
And da sa iatin.
Na.
No.
Na.
Katin.
Cartoon.
Okay.
No. No. No.
Good. That sounds good. So let's do it again. Now you guys get to be person A and ask me the same question over and over. Ready? Go.
Da sa
Asa
i.
iatin.
Ya khatin.
Da sa
Asa
i.
iatin.
Hit khatin.
Da sa i.
Team.
Au khatin.
Da sa i.
Na khatin. Good job. Let's practice. Just open, you answer, I'll ask you, and you guys just go ahead and pop off. Da sa iatin.
Hit. Hit. Achatin.
Good. Hit
I.
hit khatin.
Ya.
Ka-
U. Ayatin. Iatin.
Good.
That
Good.
didn't go very well.
That's good. Okay, let's take a quick pause. So, if I'm saying I see something, repeat after me. Ya khatin.
Ya. U. Ayatin.
And so, if you learn by touching, for me, it helps me when I'm saying khatin, I just touch my own neck. If I'm talking about you, then I'll kind of point to you. So, repeat after me and use your hands. Da sa iatin.
Da
Das
sa
it
iatin.
Asa iatin.
And repeat after me. Hit khatin.
hit
Hit. Achatin.
Atin.
Ya khatin.
Ya. Ayatin.
Katin.
Good. And let's do open answer again. You guys can all just pop off. I'll ask you. Da sa iatin.
Da sa iatin.
Katin.
Now.
Atin.
Atin.
Ya. Ayatin. Ayatin.
Katin.
Okay.
Achatin.
Gusu ish. Gwaliak. Gu ish. Ach ish khatin.
Are you pointing at the bow?
She said, I see my dad, Ish, and I just said
Oh.
maybe this person or this person.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Tao. Hati.
Hatin.
hit khatin.
Hayatin.
Uh,
Yeah.
Gosi.
Yeah.
Hatin.
Hayatin. And then
Oh,
Hayatin.
Okay. What is this, you guys? Dasawa.
Oh, that's the gumbo.
Yeah, I think so.
Shao.
Uh,
Oh, yeah, Shao.
okay.
Shao.
uh,
I knew it would stick with me.
Ciao khatin. Okay.
Yana ate Hatin.
Okay. Yan eight khatin.
Yani. Routine.
Pretty good.
And I forgot
Okay,
the
what's
word
Yana?
for herring.
Herring yao.
Yao. Hayatin.
Yao khatin.
Hayatin.
Yao. Hayatin.
Yao khatin.
Hayatin.
Okay.
What's the name of the plant?
This plant is
Yan.
Yana 8. And let's do
That was
a little
parsnip. Wow. Celery.
uh-huh.
I'm trying to remember what the word fish was.
Sao.
For herring is yao.
No, but for the hanging salmon.
Oh, khat. So let's do a list of vocab that we'll include in our next classes because you guys are drawn to them. So we'll do Yana 8. Wild celery,
Yan.
khat, fish.
But.
And then I heard someone say keet.
It.
And we will
Hayatin.
Ish.
Ish.
eh. So these will be our future vocab words. Good.
Yan.
Any
Did any-
other? Uh-huh.
Sorry, I have the baby in the background. Did anyone say the S'eek Khatin?
Oh, like okay. Eek ka'adi khatin. Let's add it to our review. Good memory. Eek.
Ik.
Ka'adi.
Kuadi. Ik kaadi.
Eowen. Eek ka'adi khatin.
Ik kaadi. Ati.
A lot. Any other comments, questions, things you see?
I have a
Uh-huh.
question about the in the shy apps. It sounds like there's pronouncing the herring word differently. So I was just curious about the double A and then a W.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
I'll need to look in the app to see how they're pronouncing it.
Ow. 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 Pluck.
I could be misremembering, but when I play the little ocean creatures game, it sounds like I'm remembering it differently, so I want to make sure I learn it
Yashka.
correctly.
I have that app. I'll check it out. I love it. I'll check it out tonight and see.
Which app is it?
Yeah.
It's the SHI language app.
Oh yeah, I haven't been to that one for a while. Yakutat has a language app too for you folks that want to look for more apps.
Thank you.
Little games on there. It's been a while since I've looked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it sounds like they're saying yeah, and
Yeah.
then here it sounded like yow.
Yeah, if you see a W at the end of a word, you need to round your lips. Yow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
How do you say hearing eggs?
Oh yeah, herring
Mm,
eggs. Uh,
yum. I know.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Mm.
Getting close, folks.
I'm gonna pull a bag out just because you said it now. I'm down to my last little bags, just like, come on, herring egg weather.
oh, here it
Uh,
is. Uh, let's practice herring eggs, and we'll add it to our vocab. Ka-
Ga.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
yeah, so this one starts with an underlined G, back of your throat. High tone double A, nice and long and high. This sound can look complicated, but really all you're doing is rounding your lips and kind of squeezing out the air. So say "Ga."
Oh,
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 Good.
oh.
wow. Yummy.
oh,
Yeah. So I'm gonna add this to our vocab too.
Oh, oh,
Good. So far, we're able to talk about name a lot of things that we can see and say, I see it, which is awesome. Um, Looking ahead, we're gonna expand and maybe get a little taste test today, talking about like the tides. The tide is coming up, the tide is high, the tide is going out, the tide is low. This graphic is pretty because you can see the movement of the current in it with the person,
Mhm.
the rake here, and how it's moving the kelp and the seaweed. Um, so let's take a quick look at that.
I chuckled when you said we'll have a taste of what's come about, different things, and I thought, wow, you actually have food there? Where food that we're studying?
Yeah, it will be. Because the picture has a lot of food in it too. And I feel like I'm always talking about food. Yeah. So, I just want to work for a couple more minutes and then give everybody time to visit. But before we go on, any more comments or questions about the poster or this activity?
I see a rainbow.
Yeah, rainbow. There's a lot going on in it. You have weather, you have animals, you got water.
Gardening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know Jamie Ann has a big interest in plants, so looking ahead, that's something we'll include as well. We have underwater plants, we have plants on the land.
What do you call that rain? Lucy time?
Siudakusitan. Ah,
Oh, what was the first part? Siu?
Siudakusitan.
Suda.
Yeah.
Notice
So
how we all ignored the rain? No.
weather is gonna be a good one for us. I have that plan for down the road, but we can start bringing it in earlier. Um, but when it comes to the tide, I was kind of excited because I found this track. Yeah, so we have the tide is going down, the tide is down, the tide is coming up, and the tide has come up. These, yeah, these phrases I took from Llyngeedich. And I'll give you guys the slides to these so that you can just hit this button and play it. But if you're wanting to practice too, just for reference, you can go to Llyngeedich and click audio files in beginning materials. So I will put this in our chat. But let's take a look at it. So first, before I hit play, I'll teach you each phrase. We'll practice together, and then you can practice after Johnny Mark says it. So the tide is going down. Repeat after me. Ye nathlein. Good. Again. Ye nathlein.
Ye
Yay,
Ye
Nachlain.
nachlain.
Good. And now the tide is down. So we know the tide is always coming up or going down, and then in between it is down at the low point and it is up at the high point. So the tide is down, it's low tide. Yan ua tha.
Yan
Yan Uashla.
Good. Again. Yan ua tha.
Yan
Yan Uashla.
Good. So from the top, the tide is going down. Ye na llain.
Ye
Yay,
nachlain.
Nachlain.
Yan ua tha.
Yan
Yan Uashla.
Good.
uwaha.
Good. Now the tide is coming in, so it's coming back up. Dak Nadain.
Nadain
Nadain.
Again. Dak
Dak.
Nadain.
Da.
Nadain.
Good. And the tide has come up. It's high tide. Yan kat uada.
Yan
Yan
Kat
Kat
Wada.
Uada.
Good. Yan kat uada.
Yan
Yan
Uada.
Good. And from the top, ye na llain.
Ye
Nachlain.
Yan ua tha.
Yan
Yan Uashla.
Dak Nadain.
Dak. Nadain.
Yan kat uada.
Yan
Yan Kat Uada.
Good. I'm gonna hit play, and Johnny Marks recorded all of these phrases for the Llingit Gheinach Ach audio CD. So we get to repeat after him. He's a birth speaker, and let's try to imitate the way he says it. I'll hit pause in between so you guys can all repeat after him. Here it comes.
The tide is going down.
Ye nachlain.
Yay, Nachlain.
Ye nachlain.
Yay, Nachlain.
The tide is down.
Yan uwashla.
Yan
Yan
Uwasha.
uwala.
Yan Uashla.
Yan uwashla.
Yan
Yan Uashla.
Yan uwala.
The tide is coming in.
Dak nadain.
Dak. Nadain.
Dak nadain.
Dak. Nadain.
The tide has come up.
Yan kat uwada.
Yan
Yan
Yan Kat Uada.
kat uwada. Yan kat uwada.
Yan Kat Uada.
Yan kat uwada.
Good. Any questions?
I
You guys-
struggle where it says with it, yan uwala. I don't think I'm pronouncing that correct.
Okay, let's practice that. So the last sound in this phrase is a Tlingit L, and you don't voice it. You don't put your voice through. You just breathe out the sound. So you could think about it as you relax your cheeks and just let the air go past the sides of your tongue. And let's practice just this sound starting with the L. Tha. Good. Again. Tha.
Sha.
Couple more times. Tha.
La.
One more. Tha.
La.
Yeah, that sounds really good. So you're breathing, the air is making a sound, but you're not activating your voice box. You're just blowing out there. Thaw, just for the L. Yeah. Good.
Yenna?
Good. So let's start.
I
Uh-huh.
I dropped a video in the chat of the Hatu Yeyati Hayu Hatangi, our languages inside of us, and these words are in the song.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's a Tide song. And so
Ah,
I dropped it in the chat. It's really long, so I don't know that it's like I might be able to share first part of it, but I encourage people to click on it and check it out after class, save it,
thank you.
share it. It's
I don't.
beautiful.
Good.
You will
Yeah.
cry. There's some crying that will happen, especially if it's your first time hearing and seeing it. They
Aw.
partnered Juno, the music folks,
Mm.
Juno Art Matters or something like that, maybe. I'm not exactly sure.
Uh,
But there's kids in there and they've mixed together, like modern music with Clinket, and oh man, it's so beautiful.
Wow. I don't think the link came through though. Jamie, I do think you could drop it again or maybe email it to me.
Is it in the chat?
It didn't go through in the chat, at least not for me.
I'm sorry, it looked like I sent it to a private, so I sent it to someone else. Let me try that again. Let's say meeting group chat. Here, I got you guys all looking.
We're all.
Okay, there it is.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Cool. I'm gonna click it here. Ah.
And you hear me opening up at the beginning and
Good. This video, I'm gonna share it, but not right now because it will take us past time, but I'll open next class with it. But thank you for sharing.
yeah, it kind of breaks it into two. There's like a first section and then it like splits into like there's a second half of it.
Cool.
It's almost like the tide going out and then the tide coming in.
This is a beautiful image at the beginning.
Gorgeous. Yeah.
Really quickly, let's do this whole phrase, finish our pronunciation, then let's kind of close down for the day. So starting with the L sound, repeat after me, thaw, and then say ua thaw, and good again, ua thaw, good, and then the whole phrase, yan ua thaw. Good. Carrie, you sound good now. Do you feel better about it?
Yes, I just have to keep practicing because I find it really a bit of a tongue twister.
Yeah, me too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good. That's what we'll do here. Just keep practicing.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna just give you a quick sneak peek. Some of our future classes will include who do you see? My uncle, my daughter, phrases like that. What are they doing? They're holding a big gumboot. They're harvesting herring eggs. So that's just to give us an idea of what's coming. And then I'm going to share the slides so that any of you can open them up and review. And let's kind of just visit for the next few minutes. I know everyone has a lot to share.
I have a question, Anna.
Yeah.
This is based on or Camille. So we're talking a lot about like who and what do we see, but like we just heard so baby's grandpa, in that recording just now from the Marks family. So can I ask, can you put in there like who do I baby, who do I hear? Because then I can say like
Oh, yeah.
S'eek for like grandpa, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that would be kind of cool to practice.
Okay. Thank you. Who do I hear? I hear my grandpa. I hear baby. Good. Lichéesh. Maybe it's good to hear you.
And I forgot, do we have it in Tlingit where, so I know kinship is different in Tlingit, but do we have a saying for great grandfather?
Who here has heard a phrase for great grandfather in their families?
I feel like, isn't that our outer shell? Or, well, I mean, we got two sides. I don't know. I haven't heard it,
I think
but I'm so very new in this language.
I
thought,
think,
In my DNA, but
oh, I thought outer, I mean, I have no idea. I should know, but like I don't, beginner as well, but I thought outer shell meant like your opposite, right? So
it's
wouldn't it come from?
your grandmother's father.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you.
Grandmother's father is an outer shell. Oh,
yeah.
Kune, is Kune here? Oh, that's more.
This is his book. Aya Akhdakanuku is my outer shell. There's a description that says the mother's father's clan.
Yeah. Yeah. So my mom, Lillian's mother, is Mabel Howard, and Mabel Howard's father was Wushkitan of Puna, and that would be my outer shell.
Yeah. So then, yeah, you could say Wushki Tanaya Akhdakanuku.
Dakanuku.
Akhdakanuku, my outer shell.
So, a quick question. If I was so like back when we used to introduce each other, like if we would introduce our opposites, for example, or if I'm like asking, what is her name and I'm talking about Jamie Ann, or like asking, oh, can you go back to that slide? Sorry.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. So would I change the ach to I if I'm saying like wushkitan aya I dakanu for saying like that is her outer shell or your outer shell?
For your outer shell, that's what you would say if you're introducing them to your kids. Aya itakanuku. This is your outer shell.
Okay.
Their outer shell, if you're talking about a third person, would be dudakanuku.
Oh, okay. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
It's theirs. Singular they.
How come we always say do? Do?
That's different.
Do.
Hello, this is Aya Kaudachat.
Yeah.
I might be wrong, but I think great grandparent would be Achli Kuhas or Achli Kutlain, maybe.
I've heard that too. Klein. It's like my great grandparent.
Yeah.
I just want to look it up because I don't personally have the conversation experience in my own life. That's why I asked if who has heard the phrase before I just go to the book. But
This is Islan. I've heard it people in their introductions say Achlis Kuhas. Like I've heard that before.
yeah, that if you add hus, you're making it plural. You're saying my grandparents. So let's do that one too. Achlis Kuhas. Achlis Kuhas. My grandparents.
Let's see.
And then can that also mean your ancestor? So in the dictionary, our grandparents, our ancestors. Ah, yeah. Ah. If you add this word hus at the end of your kinship, you're making it plural, talking about multiple people. You can use that as multiple people, our grandparents. You can also say ach ish hus, my father's people.
Ish.
Ah.
Oh.
Lichéesh. So if you're yeah, if you're ducting tan yedi, then ducting tan awa ishas, then those are your father's people. Oh man, we're out of time, but this is fun. Thank you for all your questions. Next week, I'll see you same time, same place. Have a great rest of your day.
Lichéesh.
Sheesh.
Sheesh.
Okay.
Yeesh.
So fun. This is a fun class.
Wow, look at that picture Marina put in the chat of those alignments.
Yeah, I totally downloaded them. I'm excited.
It's such a cool picture. Thanks for
Yeah.
sharing that. Oh,
Yeah.
Diane, it's so good to see you here. I hope we see you again next week.
Yeah, I remembered. Had my son help me. I repel technology, so this was pretty good. Thank you. I really enjoyed it.
Good.
So glad.
G-Man, do you have anything for me that we needed to discuss?
I don't think so.
Either.
Oh,
Thanks for taking on
good.
thanks for taking on the role of tide specialist.
Oh yeah. I have my app and I'm just trying to like get better at looking at it every day to see what the moon's doing. And then I want to do that moon mapping thing that you've got. And Ati has a really cool moon mapping book. And it's like in a circle, it has these little slivers so that you can moon map like your feelings and how you're doing and also like what the moon looks like that day. So then you kind of see month to month what's happening with the cycles. That sounds
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow. That's incredible.
Get into it more as time goes. I'm really glad that it's being incorporated into this class because that helps with it and helps other people get into it also.
Good.
Have our natural clock back.
Yeah. I know it's a challenge for me, but then I'm like, this is kind of cool to track class by what the moon is doing.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you for doing that. And we'll see
course.
you next week.
Okay, sounds good. See you.
Okay. See you later. Bye, Diane.
Bye.